grilled, Miss Pengrave.
The Raven's heir. Soon as one of them's caught, another one takes his place. Hey, Harold, have you read this? Harold? 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 You hear me? This is no time for fun and games. Copper, what are you doing here? And where's Harold?
Harold? Well, there's another guard back there unconscious. That's probably him. The Eye of the Sphinx. Where is it?
It's there.
Oh, good. Then he hasn't got it yet.
You mean the Raven's heir?
Shh! Turn it off. He's gonna steal the eye.
But how do you know?
Doesn't matter. All that matters is that we catch him. Do you understand?
Yeah, but...
Do you understand? You and me, mate, we'll be heroes. All right, now, we just have to...
What?
Halt! Stop! You're under arrest!
Hands up!
I don't have time to play. I'm on duty.
Haha, you're funny. But you don't look like a real cop. You don't even have a revolver.
Why do you need the gun?
It's the Raven. He was gunned down, so now I need a pistol.
Dead birds don't need guns. Nor do live ones.
You don't know who the Raven is, do you? He's the greatest burglar ever. He stole paintings from the Louvre, and those priceless eggs with gold and diamonds and stuff. And Bobby Dobbs says he replaced the crown jewels with rhinestones.
I know who the Raven was. Although, I don't quite buy that bit about the crown jewels. You do know these days there are thieves far more dangerous than your old Raven. 2 days ago, a precious ruby was stolen from the British Museum. There was an explosion. A guard was severely injured.
Really?
Yeah. And you know what the papers say?
You talk too much, Constable.
Zellner, monsieur. Anton Jakob Zellner.
Or did he pull a gun on you?
No, monsieur.
Get a move on.
Inspector Legrand, it's a great honor to work with a celebrity like you.
We appreciate the support of the Swiss police, but it'd be better if you'd remain seated and keep an eye on things.
But monsieur, surely I can be of assistance, somehow. I saw a safe being loaded.
We have everything under control. If you'll excuse me, I'll be in the first freight car at the back of the train for the rest of the trip.
I'm not here to enjoy the beautiful scenery. I am a good observer, and I have finally honed powers of deduction.
Thanks to that?
I watched the people on the platform in Zurich. I know, for example, that that man over there is a violinist.
That would be more impressive if there weren't a violin case next to him.
And I believe that the gentleman in the next carriage is a German doctor on his way to Italy to take up a new position.
And what gives you that idea?
There's the rod of Asclepius engraved on his cufflink. And he's carrying a German-Italian dictionary.
Maybe he's just taking a holiday in Italy, following in Goethe's footsteps.
Too much luggage. And no, he's not retiring to Italy either. The suitcases are too shabby for me to believe that he can afford to retire in his late 50s.
All right then, Constable...
Zellner.
Constable Zellner. If you're such a clever fellow, what am I doing on this train?
I think you're looking for someone.
You're just guessing. If I were looking for someone, I wouldn't spend the trip cooped up in a freight car, now would I?
Well, that would seem to indicate that you're guarding something.
And what might it be?
I really couldn't say. But it must be very important.
Why is that?
Because you are very important. They wouldn't have assigned the case to you if it were just a trifle.
Let's assume that we really are transporting something very important on this train. And let's assume that it really is my job to see that it arrives safely. Then why isn't the train crawling with police?
You don't want to arouse attention.
Évident. But why not?
It's a trap.
You've got a vivid imagination. I'll give you that. Well, that is impressive, I admit. But the fewer people involved, the better. Get along fine without you.
You won't.
Won't? Pardonnez-moi.
I can help. And I will help. You are in my country. And I've been ordered to assist you. And that's exactly what I'll do. Whether you like it or not.
Clever and stubborn. Your commitment speaks volumes, Zellner. But this is my show, and I don't need you. Bon voyage.
But how do you know? Oh, hello.
You cheated.
I did what?
I saw you talking to the German doctor on the platform. He told you everything himself, and you were just pretending to put two and two together.
And what of it? Do you know who that is? That's Inspector Nicholas Legrand. You have to impress him if you want to work with him.
I'm going to tell on you.
You'd really tell on me? To the very policeman who shot your dear Raven?
Whoa! It was him?
Mm-hmm. Hunted and killed Europe's most famous burglar. That's how he got his start.
I won't tell him a thing.
I wouldn't either. What's your name again?
Matthew Miller, from Dillsburg, Pennsylvania.
All right, Matthew Miller from Dillsburg, Pennsylvania. I have to do my work now.
Everyone calls me Matt. Well, except for my mom. She calls me Maddie, as if I were a little kid.
Whether Legrand wants my help or not, I'll keep my eyes open. Maybe I can change his mind. This morning I thought I wouldn't be hungry because of all the excitement. Thankfully, I bought a sandwich with me anyway. in the sandwich paper. That way I can carry it without making a mess of my... Still, I'd prefer not to have... The napkin came with the croissant I bought at the train station. A guilty pleasure. Every table has its own wastebasket. Practical. No need to ever leave. Every table has its own wastebasket. Practical. No need to ever leave your seat. All right. The Vicarage in the Mirror. A detective novel by my favorite author. For years now, I've been trying to convince... I'll leave it. I'll pick it up. We Swiss are crazy. We don't just have a lot of railroad. We Swiss, we don't...
Would you be so kind as to close the window? I don't... Oh.
The violinist is a good-looking fellow, and he's traveling through the... One can only hope that his violin is better. Hello, sir.
Hello.
If I'm not mistaken, you're a violinist.
That's true.
A wonderful instrument.
That's why...
Do you play in...
No. Orchestras...
A solo violinist. The best...
In that case...
Oh. What I really wanted to ask is...
Anything on...
Person's act...
For heaven's sake.
Everything is in order, sir.
I understand. No. I didn't notice anything.
Are you traveling to Istanbul non-stop?
No. I'll transfer in Venice to a ship. I'm on my...
Cairo?
I'm performing at the reception in the Egyptian Museum.
Have a good trip.
Thank you.
The violinist, for one...
Very kind of you. Thanks. Oh, pardon me.
No problem. The uniform is waterproof.
Lucio.
Oh. Are you a scientist?
No, I work at the British Museum.
You don't... So, you were, shall we say...
No,
Oh, no?
there was a lot of commotion.
There was a break-in in your...
Well, let's just say that nothing...
Whatever you say. The famous inspector... you don't know? And you also don't know?
No,
Just a thought. You're a representative...
I'm sorry. And now...
Just one more... Did you notice...
Here. No, although I did spend most...
May I ask...
Of course. I'm...
Oh, a beautiful...
Indeed.
I don't want to take up, but you do understand, don't you? That what concerns me is the
Yeah, of course.
You'll get in touch if you notice...
Of course. What's this?
What's the matter, sir?
The door. I can't open it.
Ah, we'll... The compartment is locked.
But I don't even have a key. I asked the steward.
Someone locked.
Find the steward.
Calm down.
You don't understand.
All right. The little label on the door reads Baron. I don't believe it. I never thought I'd ever...
Pardon me, but
It's all right. I'd like to speak.
Unfortunately, just a constable, Lady Westmacott. I'm reading The Vicarage in the Mirror right now for the...
That's nice.
Zellner.
This is my companion.
A pleasure. May I ask what...
Holiday? Yes.
Madam?
I've been writing since I was a little girl, and now I've stopped.
You quit? I have all of your books. Your Detective Part 2 is my favorite.
Then I have bad news for you. I killed the old wretch off years. I'd rather not.
Oh. Are you traveling to
No, we are on our way to Venice. As you may know, I have a penchant for archaeology. I traveled to Egypt by ship as a young woman. And now I'm doing it again.
I see. As a writer, you must be very observant. I mean, you have to study the behavior of people around you to create the characters in your novels, don't you?
I solved the mystery of human nature a long time ago, Mr. Zellner. Since then, most people just bore me.
Really? I had the impression you were eyeing me suspiciously.
What do you want to know?
Did you notice the man who just walked into the next carriage?
I did. He was waiting at the bar, and since the steward never appeared, he elected to help himself.
He seems pretty young, but he...
Interesting. Just how...
Of course. Did you notice the blonde...
I certainly did. He introduced himself and tried. People like him are drawn to wealth and fame.
But his
I know him by name. David Kreutzer. He was a
Do you think he has...
People like him always have a money problem. No matter how much you give them, they always spend...
Did you notice any... What about...
I notice that you've asked me about everyone, except... Isn't that the Frenchman who made his name?
I wouldn't...
Well... Why don't you ask me about him and my...
I don't think we should discuss Inspector
Legrand, right. Will he say... Or will...
As much as I'd like to...
You were right.
Madam?
I did observe. You seem so...
It's been a lot...
And this is it.
I do hope...
Then even small people can make big changes. As my friend...
I shall do... The steward must have forgotten the toothpicks. Normally he would... I've loved it. They're only... Who'd have... I suppose the steward won't object to me. The steward these days nearly... A shortwave radio. Perhaps he keeps the compartment keys locked. Where could... The drawer... The drawer is locked. The pad on which the steward... Empty. I don't need the pad.
Mr.
Zellner.
Right. How can I help you?
Tell me, did you notice anything suspicious?
You mean, except for the fact that my suitcase was stolen on the platform? No. Is there any reason to be concerned?
No, just routine.
Constable Zellner, please don't think I'm naive. I spotted the inspector from Interpol. Legarde is his name, if I recall correctly.
Legrand.
If you say so. At the train station in Zurich, he put a cash box into the safe. and then kept close watch as it was loaded onto the train. Don't tell me that a man at his pay grade routinely tramps across the Alps just to keep an eye on cash boxes.
A cash box? Like the ones you'd find in safe deposit boxes?
Precisely. And I believe we both have a good idea just what's inside.
I do indeed have a theory, but what's yours?
A ruby was stolen in London. One of the legendary Eyes of the Sphinx. The second jewel, an emerald, is rumored both jewels were supposed to be exhibited together in Cairo. It does make...
Indeed. Any news about the robbery?
Quite something. It must have been professionals. The way they disabled one of the best security...
People were injured.
Well, one cannot execute a robbery of that scale without... It seems like the Raven has finally found a worthy successor.
I'm afraid I won't enjoy his exploits this time around if the new Raven is so reckless.
That's your prerogative.
May I
You can take the section. Your interest... Here, you...
Dankeschön. There's something... Do you know...
I'd like to... I told him to search for my missing... He's probably in cahoots with the thieves. And didn't... If we don't crack down on vermin like them...
Well...
He's not...
Auf Wiedersehen.
Goodbye.
A box with a padlock. I suppose it contains tools for the train's crew, maybe for coupling. At any rate, it's positioned... Locked.
Bang! Bang! Don't move!
Matt, have you gone...
I'll shoot! Hey, my...
You'll get it back. I could have fallen...
I thought you were a
Ghost?
They do too.
Yes, yeah. The ladder lead... It will be suicidal to win. I strongly suspect that the door... No, it's open. Hello? Wow.
Don't move a muscle, you feathered fiend.
Put the gun down. If I may, Constable Robert Oliver from... This is the revered Constable Zellner of the Swiss police.
Then I was right. You really do want to lure someone into a trap.
That's none of your business.
Perhaps that someone recently struck in London.
And how would I bait my trap then?
With an eye? An eye on its way from Zurich to Cairo?
Someone has done his homework. Well done, Constable.
I hope you'll acknowledge that I, as a Swiss policeman, can undertake investigations in my...
Are we still in Switzerland?
I could be your eyes on the train, as long as you're here.
Oh, really?
There is a certain Professor Lucien. He's an archaeologist.
And what's his story?
Well, let's see.
Locked him.
Well, yes. The door...
Was it locked from inside?
It may have... Do you think the locked door could be...
Professor Lucien plays an important role. Well then, Constable Zellner, be my eyes and ears on the train and report back to me.
What do you know?
He tried to play me.
Rob, we don't know.
In any event, the new Raven...
How do you know it's a man?
Or...
And anyway, how do you know that it's...
Monsieur?
Never mind.
I go attend to...
Good. And?
Yes?
Don't bother us.
Of course. A thief might get anxious if they're...
Exactly.
Understood. An investigation on behalf of... But if I can convince him of my competence, I might even be able to...
Oh, come...
Yes?
My son didn't. It's just that he just walked past us, silent and seething.
I'm afraid so. He played a trick on me. The lad left me no choice but to take away.
I understand. Maddie is a very lively child. Sometimes
Where is Matt's father?
he's...
Ah,
Could you, leave Maddie's pistol here?
of course. I told...
Very well.
Mrs. Miller made a good impression. She wanted to protect me, but she does. I imagine she has her... Mrs.
Yes?
Did you notice?
Oh, I'm afraid not. I was totally...
She's always got an awful lot to do, my Mary.
You have to tell me if that's not all right with you.
Good Lord, child. Knit as much as you want.
So, nothing out of the ordinary.
No, Constable.
Goodbye, Mrs. Miller.
Goodbye, Constable.
Yes, what is it?
Whoever that is, James, ask them whether they found my purse and then close.
You're missing a purse.
At the very least.
It was...
When was the last time?
What?
In Zurich.
I just asked where you...
In Zurich. James, tell him that I still had it when I got up.
The Baroness.
Maybe you...
What?
The Baroness.
I know.
Very well, then. If I might ask...
I thought... James.
The Baroness wishes... Thank.
He doesn't make... And he, of all people, isn't bothered by a... Professor Lucien?
Yes? Do you have the...
Actually...
Please.
You can easily lock the compartment door.
But I didn't...
Professor, if you had locked the door from in there... Perhaps a thoughtful conductor noticed that... I don't... The bolt is too short to get... The bolt... I'm at a loss. The door is... I'm at a... If a passenger is... So, it's been missed. Oh, no. Thank you. Hello, Matt. Oh, are you going to...
Until
I get...
Oh, couldn't you have just...
Would you have...
I didn't learn...
The large map shows the different routes of the Orient Express. This, unfortunately, it will make the train in many... This is the first car. The coal tender should be direct... Mrs.
Yes?
A passenger's eyes...
Sorry. No, have you... Maddie is good at...
I have... Goodbye, Miss...
Goodbye,
you really? I'm swear. Matt is digging in. I won't get. Matt is digging in. I won't get anything out of him. That will be quite unprofessional. I think it's uncomfortable for her when I talk to her in front of Lady Westmacott, although she's just knitting. An extraordinary yet. Excuse
Constable. I'll sign your...
if it is.
Of course, but only a... You are welcome.
Thank you, sir. Another time. Farewell.
Constable.
There are not. I think it's uncomfortable for her when although she's just knitting. Taking up a craft like that is typical. Hello, Doc.
Ah,
I meant to. The Baron.
about this train is really full of the Grendel.
Have you seen?
And what do you?
Well,
Like so many. I read she must be fit.
I'll fit us.
Goodbye.
Would you like a
You think you can
I have no reason to. You may take it as a.
just...
If I'm faster than you, there'll only be.
Hey!
Friends again?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And no.
Okay.
Your mother is.
Yeah, but it's not like... At first I thought, boy, you must be really wicked if you need to pay for friends. But the lady's really okay. A bit odd, but other than that, she's...
The lady here.
Hey!
You and your mother.
I'm only there for the holiday. Most of the time I'm at...
I imagine.
No, it's fine. You always have to be so quiet in the lady's house. And I'm not allowed to bring any...
Such a big house with so many people.
You said it.
And how long has your mother
2 years.
and your father?
He stayed home. I used to go fishing with him. He even let me shoot a real...
And then?
Then Mom fought with him. I was 7.
Oh.
In 8 months, I'll be...
And do you already know what you want to be?
We'll see.
Really? You need a lot of... I'm an actor in a theater group, you know?
You are?
Oh, yes. And I'm one of... I get really deep into my role. I don't just talk like the character. I think like him. Matt, are you okay?
I think you just have to be good at copying things.
That's disturbing. The Baroness in the second. Do you have any idea?
Do I ever?
Hmm?
That guy over there with the
What about?
he picked up something in Zurich and put...
Really?
Yeah. And...
You saw it.
Uh-huh.
Did you also?
Nah, but now that I think of it,
I should look.
I think so.
Tell me, have you seen?
No.
Hopefully they didn't.
What's he supposed to...
I'm looking for.
Did you check his things behind the counter?
I'm sure that
Can't you break it open?
perhaps. But
Ask my mom. She has a lot of hairpins. She does...
so
So...
the violin case looks the best violin. Excuse. About someone saw you.
What's the meaning of it?
Nobody said. I just wanted to ask you whether you. Why did you think?
Well, I thought...
Apropos, may I have a look at you?
that's...
Very bad.
Then...
What could harm? May I ask you to?
No, you may not.
I'm afraid I.
Then I'm afraid you need a warrant.
I will not stand back and let you rifle.
Have a good trip.
Thank you.
Yes?
Please excuse my
One of my...
It's a long story.
Well, if you...
Go ahead, Mary. The constable.
Of course.
Is this one okay?
It'll do nicely, madam. How very kind of you. Goodbye, Mrs. Miller.
Goodbye, Constable.
And suddenly... Oops. Up. Batteries. Just this one. Too small for the... That's it. There we go. I bet I could...
Well, come on.
Hello?
I barely left the window ajar. Ah.
Are you okay?
Hmm?
Do you have any idea why the door...
I don't know. Maybe the constant...
You can't possibly...
Well, then what?
The conductor could have locked... On the other hand, it could have been someone here...
Who?
They could have climbed...
Who would be that in...
You tell me. So, what are you hiding in your bag?
No.
No valuable?
Certainly not.
It was enough for a first-class compartment.
That's...
You're playing a danger... I'd like to look around...
Of course.
A suit. What's this?
What do you have there?
It's a button.
The burglar might...
Maybe. If I notice anyone with a... But I wouldn't get my hopes up. If there was a... I really... But I can't just rifle. No. Nothing interesting. Wow, this is very nice.
If you'd managed to decode hieroglyphics that boggled the best minds of the last 3,000 years...
The Bible, Grimm's fairy tales, Moby Dick... Professor Lu...
Yes?
Oh,
Well,
he's hiding something. Goodbye,
goodbye.
Matt says the file... The question... All right. The violinist won't...
Of course he won't. Should I distract him? Then you can have him. I could tell him there's a suitcase full of money in the next carriage.
I don't...
Or I can...
Now that I think about it, this is something I have to attend to.
Little...
Sorry, so long.
So...
What are you doing?
You're not alone on this train?
Swiss politeness doesn't seem to be what it used to be. I'm not going to catch a cold because of you. Go somewhere.
We Swiss, we don't just have... That makes no sense. The tip of the toothpick is stuck.
What nerve?
Well, that's not what an old one.
Hey,
I was taking your case for safekeeping since it was left here unattended. When I picked it up, the cover unlatched.
I never leave my
Ah, then no one else could have...
someone must...
For sure.
I don't owe you an explanation. Now, take the damned purse to the Baroness and... Just get lost.
I'll inform the authorities in Venice.
Oh, Inspector.
I did it.
You did out of my way. Oh, wonderful. Tremendous.
Constable, Baroness. May I ask you...
To the man. One is close to the brink of insanity.
Have you ever
Do you know how little luggage it defies all reason?
Have you heard about the burglary?
Heard? I'm directly...
How so?
I'm in charge of the Friends of the British Museum. And for your information, I'm financing the exhibition.
Exhibition? What exhibition?
The exhibition in Cairo. Where did you think we were going? The eyes of the Sphinx were supposed to be exhibited together for the first time in decades. Now that one of them is gone, the exhibition will be rather less sensational than we'd hoped.
On the other hand, there's a chance that all the uproar will generate more attention, and that the exhibition will still be a great success.
Perhaps. But we wanted to show them both together. That was the whole point.
Can you tell me anything about your fellow passengers, Baroness?
No, not really. I could hardly care who's penned up in here with me. Oh, no. Wait a minute. Lucien is here, the professor. Poor fellow. The eye of the Sphinx that was stolen belonged to his collection.
Professor Lucien is an Egyptologist.
But of course. As director of the Egyptian department of the whole burglary thing, Director Thomas told me he was...
I'll take my leave of you now, Baron.
Yes.
Jane.